Are we live? Is it working?
I don't know. I'm not sure because it popped up and said the browser failed to play video clip, and I was like, "Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no!"
I hope it played one of them
It did. I've got us pulled up on the YouTubes.
on the YouTubes.
And it
Hey,
has
wrong
us.
show. Wrong show.
Oh, you're right. I have to get
Wrong
my
show.
voice right. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness!
Right.
Look at all these people. Apologize.
Look
I
at us.
had I'd originally set this up for 6:15, and then due to some unforeseen delays, had to push it back to 6:35. And I'm like, oh, I'll just split the difference and go ahead and go on.
For real, it worked out. Look
For
at all the
real.
folks.
I know it. Oh my goodness.
Me.
We got the White Rabbit.
Nice.
We got Miami Spice.
Spicy.
We got the expert talking about going to the tanning bed.
Perfect.
We got Texas Jen.
Texas Jen. Sweet.
We got Squad Bob with what does it mean to push back time where the world to roll backward? Wouldn't we all fall off ourselves? And what are the crispiness of the expert? Well, I think he likes to be medium rare.
Does he?
Yeah, I think that's what he prefers.
You don't think he's crispy like kettle cooked chips?
No.
Okay.
He hasn't started shriveling up yet, but that's coming.
Oh, gosh.
And Outpost Nerd.
Sweet. Hey, Outpost Nerd. I said your name right. That's shocking.
You did. You didn't say Outhouse Nerd.
Oh, dear.
The White Rabbit's driving.
Oh, okay.
I'm scared.
Nah. Just wait till I'm driving.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. We don't want to tell Volstorm about that expert. A talking white dot.
What? I'm a talking white dot again?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I don't want to tell you about it.
Well, I'd rather you go ahead and tell me about it now.
Well, I'm avoiding confrontation.
No. It's not what we're here for.
Oh, an ice bath on Prime Day. Sorry, I'm distracted by the chat now.
Hey, it's back.
Yay! You are.
I figured out how to fix it.
You're not a talking white dot anymore.
I'm not a talking white dot anymore. I'm a talking pirate logo.
Well, we've got Wolfkinder too.
I did see an ice bath on Prime Day. I'm surprised you didn't buy it.
Yeah, because I think he's heard of Wim Hof.
He has.
I think he has.
Surprised.
Yeah.
Hello, Wolfkinder. See, I can pronounce your name right, unlike expert.
Wolfkinder. He's gotten a lot better about that.
He has gotten better since he figured out it's pronounced more like kindergarten than kinder.
Yeah. Well,
Americans. Jeez.
Right. That's true.
That's right, Miami Spice. Let
the pirate flag fly.
Let the flag fly. Sometimes you have to spit on your hands and raise the black flag.
I would agree.
Oh my goodness.
So we haven't been live in quite some time.
In about 2 months.
Has it been just 2 months? Really?
I'm trying to be nice to ourselves.
Oh.
It's probably been like 3.
I thought it had been longer. I really did. But the past 3 months have felt like 6.
Yeah, it's been Lord knows we've been through a lot of changes over the past few months.
Haven't we though? It's been fun.
We have.
Fun adventure.
Quit lying to these people.
It's all in how you perceive it, man. It's all in how
change your narrative, man.
That's right, man. That's right.
Texas Jen said, my husband's on a Wim Hof kick. I'm tired of buckets full of ice in my living room.
So some people will buy one of those inexpensive freezers.
Yeah.
And that gives me a great idea for our garage. We can get an inexpensive freezer and I can keep that for my ice baths.
Yeah. Or we can put it next to the hot tub we never used.
The
There's an
one that
idea.
the one that had the rats under it. Should I say that live?
Well, the dogs killed the rats. So.
He did.
Well,
He was a good boy. He
well,
went right after that
one of
rat.
them chased it out, and then the other one went after it.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
this is before the two we have now. I think if that had happened with them, then the rat would still the rat would have built a condo in the damn thing. We did too. We actually bought one, but we never hooked it up.
Never, yeah, because I've
that was
realized
going to be a whole thing.
it was. Sometimes I get way ahead of myself with my ideas. I was just like, we're gonna get a hot tub, and then that will force us to hook up the electric.
Yeah, we see how that went.
Yeah, it didn't. It didn't.
Never have ideas of, well, if we do this, that'll prompt us to do this, because we both know that's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. It's okay. Ish.
It's
round to it.
Round to it. Exactly.
Round to it.
That's probably it. Well, she has good ideas at times, but I have to filter them.
Well, I've said that if I had a friend that was like an angel investor or a financier,
yes,
man, I'd be making him money.
But
just money on top of money.
Yeah, but you'd be spending his or her money.
It'd be a great return on investment. No.
I'm not too sure about that.
It would be. It'd be a great return on investment. I think that's a great idea. Tons. I'm my own think tank.
You are. You are indeed your own think tank. Oh my Lord.
So since it has been such a hiatus, what's prompted this fall storm?
So I was driving back home today. I had to go way out of town. I consider it way out of town. And when I was driving back, I was listening to a program and had an idea pop in my head about how do we deal with conflict.
Oh dear.
What?
I feel
pressured.
Attacked. No,
you already feel attacked and pressured.
Attacked.
Oh, just wait. I'm like White Rabbit. I got notes.
I got notes.
Folks. Now I write the notes down because I know I'll forget it.
Yeah.
But now it got me thinking about how we deal with conflict. Now, when you think of conflict, the first thing you probably think of is like a physical fight. Actually having to get into a fight with somebody.
You and me gonna fight.
We've all seen the videos on TikTok and on YouTube and on Twitter and everything of all these people fighting, which I'll get to a little bit later. But to me, I think one of the biggest conflicts is how we deal with ourselves.
Ooh, that's why I feel triggered. You got me.
Because conflict is not just, going toe to toe with somebody. Conflict a lot of times is having to fight with yourself and overcome yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And how you're able to do that. Do you react positively or do you react negatively?
Yeah. It's a good point, because I think most in fact, what was funny today is I caught myself avoiding conflict. It was the tiniest little thing. So tiny. I didn't want to reach out and ask a question. Now, this is habitual for me.
Now, why?
Never ask for help. I'm going to give a little background. I never ask for help. I'll do it myself before I'll ask for help. So why am I afraid of asking?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Through lots of work and self-reflection. No, I realize, one, I don't like to burden people. I don't like to be a burden. That's its own thing. That's its own thing completely. But also, I don't want to have to go through the process of potentially having a conflict with someone. Now, I'm not I'll say, and you might back me up on this, I'm not afraid of conflict. Normally, I face it right up front.
No, you are pretty good about if something's right there in your face, you have no trouble calling it out.
Yeah. Yeah, but I notice what I will do a lot is I will sit back and watch also. Like, if it's something that I'm kinda like, "Oh, hell no."
Right.
I'll take a moment, I'll step back, I'll detach a little bit, and I'll say, "Is this worth the potential conflict that this would bring if I speak up about it?" So, I would say, is that temperance or is that fear of conflict? I'm not sure.
I think a lot of it has to do with fear. I think a lot of it has to do with you're afraid to ask because you don't want to look stupid.
Oh, I hate looking stupid. Oh, good God.
Right.
Ugh.
But I'll counter with this. Which is worse? Looking stupid because you are afraid of asking a question that somebody, whatever the other person's perception is, or not asking for help and royally screwing it up.
Well, there is that, I think it's a proverb. Um,
It is a proverb.
there's so many. Um, you know, you can open your
Lean,
mouth and
no,
prove,
it's
keep your
lean
mouth
not on
shut.
your own. No, it's lean
Oh,
not on your own
oh
understanding.
yeah, that one. I use that one a lot for myself too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's open your mouth and prove that you're a fool, or keep your mouth shut and nobody know. I've butchered that, but
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah. It's something to the fact of better for people to think that you're incompetent than to open your mouth and reveal it.
yeah, and prove it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a little bit of that. Yeah, not asking for help is worse.
Yeah.
I
And
it does have to do with fear. I think you're absolutely right on that.
I think I think a lot of people try to avoid conflict and they don't even realize it.
Mm. Mhm. I would agree. I would agree.
And what I can think of is number one, like in your situation where you're afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
Um, and I have that from time to time too, but
Hmm.
it 50% of the time it's I don't want to look stupid, and the other 50% of the time is I just need a minute to figure this out.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause
It's not that I can't figure it out. It's that it's not coming to me right away.
mhm.
And then eventually I have to get to the point to where I'm like, okay, I need to look something up or I need to go to YouTube or ask you or just whoever's
Yes.
available.
Ask the dictionary diva for any reference questions you may have.
Yes.
Yes.
Here it goes. Outpost got the quote. Mark Twain, it's better to keep one's mouth shut and be thought a fool than to open it and remove all doubt.
Yes. Thank you, Outpost nerd. I appreciate that.
But sometimes sometimes it's better to open your mouth.
Yeah, sometimes it is. Like,
Because I've got people in my work that that they'll say, well, I didn't want to call and hound you, or I didn't want to call and hound, the other people I work with, and I tell them, I say, look, I would rather you call me and ask me a question beforehand than us having to come in later and deal with it afterwards. It's better for you to call me than me have to call you.
well, you've got the dogs all stirred up. I've got one of them trying to get in my lap right now. They're afraid
Oh,
of
I'm dealing with the
conflict.
cat, so
They're afraid.
he's come to the mascot has come down here.
I don't I don't know what it is about this topic, but they're all fired up about it.
Well,
Maybe they're afraid of conflict too.
they ought to be.
Oh my gosh.
Let's
Pardon
think of
me for a
another
minute.
interaction. You're with a group of people. You may have some of them are friends and, mixed company, whatever. And then somebody says something that sets you off.
Mm.
What?
Oh, nothing. I'm sorry. I was thinking of one of my friends had written a book.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pimp her book just a little bit. Um, Teresa Lynn. It's available on Amazon and Kindle. Um, but it's called I'm Offended. And the way she did the cover of the book, she wrote, it's okay, cross that out. And then she wrote, I'm fine, cross that out. And then at the very bottom, it's I'm offended.
Uh,
And it's talking about that kind of very situation where you're like, it's okay.
right.
I'm fine. And you're like, wait a second. I'm offended.
But in those situations, is it better off to go ahead and say something? Or is it better off to, oh, I'm going to let it go? I mean, something that
Yeah.
really would offend you, something that would,
Yes.
I'm not talking about just, somebody says something in jest or, just normal conversation among friends.
Yeah, I'm with you now. Because I think what happens with women, and I recognized it in myself years ago before I met you.
Yeah.
Um, little
Go.
background history, but my mom was the queen of martyrdom.
Ah, yes. Passive
Queen.
aggressive behavior.
Oh my gosh, she was the queen of it. I mean, if there could be an Olympic sport for that, she would have beat all nations and come out with the gold. She was so good at it. I mean, good. Really good.
Right.
And she'd be passive aggressive. Like, there's this funny story about a lost spatula. 'Cause
The spatula story.
she
Oh,
would
geez.
do this stuff to my dad. It would be so passive aggressive. And my dad, former Marine, and he just didn't do that. That's not how his mind worked.
Right.
No. He did not tolerate passive aggressive. And I grew up more like him.
Right.
I don't like for stuff to linger. I don't like for things to be unsaid. So I like to address it. And
Right.
that's been fun, right, Volster?
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Loads. Loads. We won't get into that.
That's not this show at all. That's not
That's
what
not
this
this
show.
show at all. But because here's what I thought of in my mind. You're in that social situation, somebody says something that, that does insult you,
Mhm.
and you decide not to say anything. And then
Mm.
it lingers, and then it
Mm.
festers,
Hmm.
and then it does become passive aggressive behavior.
So I've done a lot of thought on that.
Uh-huh.
So at the point where someone says something that offends you, you have two choices.
Mm-hmm.
You really do. You have two choices. One, you can react. Two, you can pause.
Hi,
And if,
Great Day, Mom.
hey, Great Dane Mom. So if you pause, that gives you time for other, I think of if then loops. Can you
Right.
tell it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you pause, then you have the possibility to say, okay, am I just a little off today that hit me that way? Did they really mean it that way?
Right.
You have that moment of you can self-reflect. Two, there's the other option if you pause. You can not say anything and then let it fester.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Let's see. Come on. I found I pause a lot more on my page. Me too. Matter of fact, I will tell you this. Just a quick little side note. At graduation, when I graduated from UT, our the speaker that we had, who was Jim Haslam, owns Pilot Oil, he talked about the pause and the power of it,
Mm-hmm.
and how sitting back and taking a moment, he said that has won me more negotiations than anything, because then people are like, okay, what's he thinking?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's on his mind? Good. I'm glad to know.
Yeah, I'm glad you're not driving anymore. That's good. Texting
But
and driving is dangerous.
yeah, it is. Especially if you have expert typing for you, because there's no telling what he'll put. Exactly. I want to use my F's wisely. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Perfect.
Oh my gosh. But
The
it's
pause. The pause.
the pause, but when you're sitting there and you're thinking about it, you really need to do one of two things. Either number one, go ahead and confront it.
Yes.
Go ahead and bring it up. Do it in a mature, respectful way. It's possible, even with emotion. Or number two, let it go.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Let it go.
Most of the time, because like I said, I've done years of this reflection. If something, we'll just say it, if something pissed me off, I had to ask myself, is my reaction warranted? Because my reaction could be very, very strong.
Right.
And maybe that person doesn't deserve it. You know, I never get mad at cashiers ever. They don't deserve it. You know, like
No.
never get mad.
Except Barbara. we know about Barbara.
But doctor's offices never get mad.
Nope.
People driving crazy on the road never get mad.
No. Matter of fact, I've gotten better service when I tell them, you know, I'm kind of laid back about it. Like, no, you're fine. It's cool.
Yep.
And they're always like, oh, thank you so much. Matter of fact, I
Yeah.
have my truck worked on, and it took forever, but it's finally fixed. And I told the guy, I said, you know, I just really want to tell y'all I appreciate y'all taking the time and doing all, you know, and getting everything fixed, you know, because I need it for my work, especially. And he said, you don't know how good that is to hear.
Yeah.
He said, because especially with the mechanic, you know, they've got lots of cars in there. They're backed up. People get impatient because people want their car right then, right now.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it takes a little longer to be able to get it fixed. And it did take them long. It took 3 trips and about 6 weeks.
It took
but they got it fixed. It's fixed now. I can confidently say that.
It's fixed.
But he was like, it's amazing. Or he said, you really don't know how little we hear that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, you know, it's a crappy job, but you know, they're having to work for their money too.
Well, what were you saying? Because you also said you were listening to, who were you listening to today?
I was listening to Crowder, as a matter of fact.
Really?
And he was interviewing the guy who wrote the book, The Warrior Poet.
Is it The Way of the Warrior Poet, or is it just the Warrior
There's
Poet?
a new one.
Okay,
He has
because
2 books. You have the old one.
Oh, okay. Okay.
This one just came out a couple days ago.
Oh, you got to pimp that book, you know? You've got to.
I'm too busy pimping myself.
Well, I don't even pimp my own stuff. I don't even pimp my own stuff, but it's okay. I'll pimp my friend though.
Which is a good time for me to say, be sure to hit that like button. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button.
Yes.
And by the way, subscribe to Dictionary Diva and subscribe to Down Home Network.
Down Home Network.
I will be sure and I'll be sure and update the links
Yeah, because Down Home Network,
later.
if you all haven't partaken, it's a fabulous little jaunt into the country. It's wonderful.
It's funny, and you're getting me off track.
I'm sorry. This is why I don't talk that much. I might do
See,
and I
see, this is me confronting you and speaking up.
I like that, thank you.
You're very welcome.
I will put my phone down and stop looking for the book.
No, I
But
mean, we've had plenty of times where we've had to confront each other, right?
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, sometimes, like, you'll I think that's come with just growth and time too, but you'll be like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "Nothing." And you're like, "No, something's wrong." I'm like, "Nothing." And then finally I've gotten to the point where I'm like, "Oh, do you see something on my face that's saying that I'm preoccupied and that there's something on my mind?" And then you'll be like, "Yeah, you look a little like this." And I'm like, "Oh, well, something might be bothering me,
Right.
but I don't
Well,
think I've processed it yet."
well, and the times where I'm in a mood or whatever, and I'm a jerk, and you look at me and go, "You're being a jerk." I'm
No,
like,
I say you're
I'm
being an
like,
asshole. I tell
oh,
you,
I was
yeah.
trying to keep it clean, lady.
Oh.
Come on. Yes, I'm an asshole.
No, I mean,
No, no,
oh,
no. Those times you call me out, I am being an asshole, and
oh,
I'm
yeah,
mature enough to recognize it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not like a all the time. This is who you are. This is your being. Is the persona of asshole? No, just at that point in time,
Right, right. No, no,
which is
no.
very rare. Yeah, but some
Yeah.
people, whenever they hear that, it is that all or nothing mentality of, oh, so you think that's how I am all the time? Well, it's good to know. Thanks.
No, I think like a lot of people, even though, like I said, I don't take it personally. At first, yeah, I do get defensive,
That's natural
but
response.
which is a natural response. And then I think about it and I'm like, yeah, I didn't convey my point the way I didn't clearly convey my point.
And honestly, I think that's where a lot of, fear of conflict can come from, is fear of the
Hi,
other
Robin.
person's response. Will it be a defensive response? Which some people just their hearts can't take a defensive response, you know? They're just like, "Ugh,
Awesome.
I didn't wanna have a fight."
Well, and here's the thing. When you're having to confront somebody, the whole thing about the topic of the show is when when you're having to go into a confrontation, are you doing it with a level of respect? And if you are going into it with a level of respect, then I feel you shouldn't worry about what the other person thinks. Because I mean, there's plenty of times I just don't care.
Well, I think and I have this philosophy of, obviously, I have a lot of temperance,
Right.
but if a person is offended that I'm offended, then that's their problem, just like it's my problem that I'm
Right.
offended. They didn't do it to me. I'm not a victim of what they said. And that's
Right.
why I don't react a lot of the times because I never allow myself to be a victim of what
Right.
someone else said. That's on them. How I choose to take it is my agency.
Right. And a lot of times when when if somebody makes an offhand remark or something, I've gotten to the point to where I've heard it so much. I've heard the banter back and forth so much that a lot of times I don't even blink an eye at it. I'm just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't offend me, and I'm not going to be a victim of it.
Mm-mm. No, I mean, it's easy to have it's common, it's completely human to have an initial reaction.
Right. And a lot of my demeanor comes from being put in bad situations.
Yep, that's exactly why I've developed,
You know,
my MO.
it's the
'Cause
mentality of good.
oh, Jocko.
It's like you know, you got a lot of bad, you know, a lot of bad stuff going on, bad things happening, people talking crap about you. Good. Because what
Good.
that's going to do is if that happens again in the future, you're going to be more prepared.
Yeah, more prepared. Take some time for self-reflection. I mean, there's one thing that you had pointed out too was
Mm.
how unresolved conflict
Yes.
can cause external behaviors.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, yeah, and it can cause so many internal behaviors and repercussions too."
Well, and that's the whole issue, isn't it? It the confrontation really isn't with the other person, it's with yourself and how you choose to handle it.
Yes. Yes. And
It
fundamentally, that's exactly what it is.
and I feel like a lot of times that's how a person handles things is their own fear.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, fear, are they right? Fear of, yeah, I'm
Ooh.
not good enough. Fear
Ooh.
of, you know, well, I can't believe they said that in front of all these people, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, no, I'm taking you in. I'm taking you in, man. I'm drinking up the Volstorm.
It's not that kind of show, baby.
Oh, that's right, sorry. Besides, you're in a whole other room.
Yeah, man, I am. Me, just me and the cat. Deep thoughts on a Wednesday. That's right.
That's right. Why not?
Yeah. Well, it's you bring up a somebody called you. Ah, shoot.
What?
What am I trying to say?
I don't know. I was just gonna go into the swirling thoughts of,
Go for it.
unresolved conflict,
Right.
like, just within the person, what it can do. Um, so if you have an unresolved conflict, you can have outward behaviors like passive aggressiveness and
Oh yeah.
snide remarks and
Mm-hmm.
cattiness. Those are external, where you're trying to jab at the other person, you know?
Right. Right. It's it's I didn't speak up for myself at the time, so this is my way of getting back at it.
I'm gonna get back at you. I just think
Get
of a
back
little
at you.
yeah, a little shank. Shank, shank. It doesn't really
you
do a
fi-
lot of
you filed
damage.
that bar of soap down to a shank and you're ready to grumble.
That's right, that's right. But those are external. But when you have unresolved conflict, it starts to fester within yourself and in your mind.
Right.
And it just swirls and swirls and swirls. And like if you have any issues with self-doubt or any issues with just who are you? And that's a huge topic. Who are you?
Who
If you
are
don't
you?
know who the heck you are and somebody says something and it triggers that desire to create conflict, but then you don't or you do, either way.
Right.
And then it's unresolved in general. It's just unresolved whether you confronted it or you didn't. Then you're swirling around like, well, who am I? Am I a person who sticks up for myself? Am I a person who doesn't? Am I a person who takes this? And then you're
Right.
just grinding your gears continually, and that has an effect, just overall, not just on your mind, but your interactions with other people, um,
It
physical
does.
health.
You start creating thoughts in your mind that aren't even true.
Yes. Intrusive thoughts.
See, and that's another thing. When you don't take on something head on, then you've allowed your mind to come up with all these thoughts which may or may not be true, as
Yeah.
opposed to being like, hey, about the other day, blah 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 blah, and getting the truth from somebody. And whether they give you the truth or not, that'll determine how right you are.
Yeah, there's a book that I like to recommend to folks, it's called Loving What Is by Byron Katie, and it really is where you ask yourself the question, "Is this true?" Is this true? Is this thought I'm having of myself true? Is it true that my husband never picks up the laundry ever, never, ever in the history of our marriage?
No.
Is that true? No, it's not true. I'm using that as an example. You just ask yourself, and it's that whole period of self-reflection and self-evaluation. I like what expert says.
Yes. I almost think White Rabbit wrote it. See, I confront expert all the time. That's not a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, sometimes people are like, one other thing about confrontation. You don't want to, like how I say I have a high degree of temperance and I don't react to things.
Right.
And then I've had to deal with the repercussions of unresolved conflict within myself. I've had to deal with that. But there's this other area of ambiguity. So like if
What do you mean?
maybe you have addressed the issue and then the other person hasn't quite given a full satisfying reply, and you're just kind of left in this limbo of ambiguity. I haven't quite figured out how to deal with that yet.
See, that's when I start asking questions. If I hadn't gotten my answer one way or another, I start asking more questions.
Yeah, man.
And it's it's probably the people I deal with probably think that's a pet peeve. But yeah, that's what I do. If I ask somebody something and they give me kind of a hem-haw answer, then I start digging. Then I go into what I've termed predator mode.
Oh yeah.
And I start asking more questions to get to the truth, to get to the heart of the matter, because I know I won't be satisfied unless I get it. And then sometimes I get to the point where it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to get it out of them. I'll let it go.
Let it go. Yeah. Yeah. Because if somebody wants to say that the sky's purple and they are set to say the sky's purple, they believe it, that is their internal sky color, it's purple.
Okay, man.
And you try to tell them, yeah, like maybe you actually make the mistake of getting engaged in the, trying to confront that wrong belief.
That can get to the point of trying to control.
Excellent topic. Excellent topic. Have we covered that before on Caliber and Character? I don't know, but the topic of control that's a doozy, man. That's a doozy.
Okay, expert. Whatever.
Yeah,
whatever you think, man.
Real. Hey, there's a really cool podcast about how
that's a fact. That's not that everybody knows.
Earth is flat?
Yeah, everybody knows this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you get answers like that, like, okay.
Earth is flat, birds aren't real.
Okay.
Everybody knows this. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We've actually talked quite a bit about. Did we ever come to a resolution? Did we resolve this conflict?
Have we? Or have we just discussed it?
I think we just discussed it.
I will tell you something that aggravates me, and it kind of ties into some of this. I talked at the beginning of the show about, the people that, video fights.
Oh, yes.
Why are they videoing it?
Why
instead of trying to go get help or break it up or something.
Instead of doing the right thing.
Doing
unto others as you would have done unto you.
And I realize, part of it's probably, I want to be able to put this up on YouTube.
I want views for my TikTok.
Part of it is they're afraid to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot. That's just
maybe they don't have the right caliber to deal with it.
No, they don't. Nor do they have character.
Yes.
He would know.
He would
Stop
know.
reading the chat.
It happens.
Stop reading the
It
chat.
happens.
Well, guys, thanks for tuning into the show. Sorry it's been so long, but we are glad to be back on here. Be sure and subscribe to Dictionary Diva. I'll put it in there. I'll be sure and put the link into the description a little bit later.
Thank you.
Also, tune in to Down Home Network because it's hilarious.
Every Sunday, just about every Sunday, there is
except for this Sunday,
a broadcast. Just about every Sunday. Oh, who? Us not stop or him stop?
He said, no, don't stop. I'm leaving. He's like, no, I'll stop talking. I'll leave.
Oh no, he's fine.
Anyway, be sure to subscribe to Dictionary Diva. Be sure to subscribe to Down Home Network. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And everybody that's on here, even our shout out to the rewatch peeps.
Heck yeah.
Be sure to hit that like button for us. Tell your friends, share. And
like and share.
We will see you guys next time. Thank you so much, Diva.
Thank you, guys. Parting thoughts? No, I would get into another topic and it would turn into a rabbit trail.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody, and hail chat.